Welcome and respect to everyone. Welcome to the Higher Lyrics Born to Serve Blog Talk Radio Show. It's Sunday, August 9th, 2009. This is Roxanne Grinage. I'm administrator and manager of a 9-year demonstrator of a standard access mechanism for administrative services, access to contingently rendered administrative services that document rights of ownership and cause fair entry into quality of life competitive processes to raise quality of life for families and our future generations. And I'm also manager of our brother company, whaistherelefttodO.com. Roxanne Grinage, I'm your host. I'm very grateful to have you here today. I'm grateful to be here today on Blog Talk Radio. The topic of today's show is, Higher Lyrics believes that there's an administrative solution for every market entering challenge, and markets via a standard access mechanism, we're able to raise our consciousness to see that markets actually impact families and quality of life. Okay, markets are our industries: education, litigation, technology, entertainment, 12-step recovery, life experience are all, and synergy and intent. Communities are, in fact, markets that have synergetic relationships that impact, and professional services that impact quality of life for families. And as quality of life for families is impacted, so is our workforce impacted, so is our economy impacted, and that's all feeds into our respectfully suggested administrative solutions for U.S. economic recovery. Today's show topic is Family Court Attorney Child Welfare Ethics, 6th Draft U.S. Citizens-Controlled Incident Report Database. I'm going to give our disclaimer right here. Blog Talk Radio does not agree with, support, or have any prior knowledge or has given any prior consent to the statements made in this show. Higher Lyrics Born to Serve Radio Show. Roxanne Grinage takes full responsibility for the accuracy, truthfulness, and verified statements of this show. Okay? Let's see. What else did I want to say? Oh, I want to say how much I missed being here in the Blog Talk Radio community. It's been about a month, I think, since I had a show. I've been ill. The last show, the 6th draft of the U.S. Citizens-Controlled Public Docket Thread Database, as we're developing the prototype, was canceled due to the flu. I looked at some of my last videos I did on YouTube and my last couple blog talk shows, and it was hard to. It's obvious I was struggling to talk and breathe at the same time. It's like I was sick, so I took a minute and dealt with my health. If we don't have our health, we don't have anything. And I returned with a renewed commitment, passion to make this world a better place than how we found it, through sharing, learning of how administrative accountability and standard access to standard procedures and standard application of services does, in fact, enable a previously unseen, unaccommodated, worldwide population of disadvantaged creators to bring their original creative work product contribution to market, their contribution of life experience, and careers. Okay, now how does all of that translate into child welfare, child support, and the courts, and attorney ethics? Well, let's see. This show is short. It's just basically to let you know that in our development of, as I gathered, as you see in the previous shows and YouTube videos, we're inviting, rigorously encouraging people, mainstream Americans, middle class, working poor, upper middle class, everybody who's disadvantaged in any way for dealing with machine-like, traditionally accepted, unchallenged processes of health care, education, incarceration, child welfare. We've invited people to share with us their administrative horror stories that are being used as they are growing to be inserted into our prototype suggestion of the U.S. Citizens Control Incident Report, Public Incident Reporting Docket Thread Database for the purpose of leveraging accountability on our government officials from the federal government to the state governments to local governments on down to how they're spending the stimulus money, or whether or not the stimulus money is even reaching the citizens of the U.S. it's intended to help because of the functions of work ethic, variables of work ethic, synergy, intent practiced by the employees that administrate it for the agencies. It never is going to reach us if there's not some accountability or some measurement put in place or some recognition that says how an employee answers the phone matters, whether or not an employee in any agency, any caseworker actually is generous with information, if they're initiated, if they make a lot of clerical errors either through incompetence or they just don't care or they don't want to be bothered, and how that impacts long-term, actually causes injuries, emotional injuries, physical injuries to families who want their children, but because of the unsavory relationships being formed that have been traditionally formed and unchallenged by attorneys, bar attorneys, and the court administrators and the child welfare people, they would rather rip the kids from the homes that need a minimal amount of services to be holistic and throw them into unchecked, unbalanced, abusive so-called foster homes or church-run facilities by zealous church fanatic people who believe they need to be exorcised from demons. And there's just a lot of abuse. And our children, which is our future, are being cut off. They're being destroyed before they can even come bring their life experience and education and product contributions to markets that impact our quality of life as consumers who consume education and consume entertainment and consume litigation, okay, and consume advertising. We're missing a huge amount of raised quality of product because we have machine-like processes that we render over to we give our permission to adjudicate and make decisions about us without any accountability to how that machine stomps us and crushes us. So that's what this show is about. The show today is basically about just letting you know that this is a major category within the database that is being developed, as we've listed other categories. If you go to my website, higherlyrics.org, www.higherlyrics.org, it says right on the homepage what the U.S. Citizens-Controlled Public Incident Report Database is and how it'll leverage accountability to the people and that have turned into machines and processes of incarceration that claim we're accountable to them as individuals, but they're not accountable to us as they smash us through either incompetence, poor work ethic, malintent, work ethic, synergy, intent, malintent. So you have families, parents that are actually seeking adjudication and relief from the courts, and grandparents that are seeking adjudication and relief from courts, thinking that it's going to whatever decision they make is going to be qualified and in their best interest. But by the time there's so many clerical errors or the conflict of interest, the unethical attorney who's having lunch with the clerk court and administrators and has an inside ear, has their ear, ends up moving everything back and getting continuances unofficially and making sure you don't get served or parents don't get served, and just a lot of procedural errors that are so flagrant, it begs the question, they're just too conspicuous for favoring attorneys. And the